Okay, I've just thought about this just today. It just came occurred to me. I don't know if it's been covered. I haven't actually researched it to see if somebody else has covered this topic. But I've just looked at the concept of the Mandela effect flip-flops. Strange thing happened to me today. I won't tell you the exact nature of the situation, but basically, I did get photographic evidence of a kind of flip flop. But um, before I start uh, accusing or postulating what the reasons could be, um, we just actually have to eliminate the obvious ones. The solar wind, which is a stream of energized particles, where it's a plasma of particles, electrons, protons, and all other kinds of particles in there. Now, whenever there is a coronal mass emission, it can black out satellites and all kinds of computational um, processes or processes are also interfered with. So you could have a computer that can get hit by these ionized or energized particles, and its ability to process um, gets affected that way. So, and then once the particles are passed through it, it flips back to normal. So, some of the flip flops that involve um, um, data that's stored on a computer might be down to that. But then there are other flip flops which are in everyday life, which is not stored on computer. But that's where I always talk about the collective consciousness, the structure that is the collective consciousness. Now, if you look at ants, um, from their length scale, if you was to zoom in and look at an individual ant, you just see it just buzzing about doing nothing, really obvious. But if you look at it from a global scale, from our length scale, you see that there is a structure, a collective structure. Yeah, it's like a living structure. Now, if you look at human beings at our length scales, obviously we all seem to be moving randomly like we ain't doing nothing. Now, if you was to go into outer space and look at us from that length scale, you might start to see a structure. You know, some of it is man-made, it's consciously made. We all have to go to work in a rat race, but there is an instinctive element that is due to the fact that it's a structure that we are part of. So the solar wind and coronal mass emissions can affect that structure on that length scale. Yeah. So when that happens, then what we collectively know might flip flop. So to those Mandela effect, those people who are affected by the Mandela effect flip flops, if you could just basically every time you see a flip flop, go online and look to see when the last coronal mass emission was. Look at solar activity and to see when the last emission of the solar wind was, or when the solar wind touched the planet. Yeah. Then you see there might be a correlation between the two. Yeah. When we think that something's changed and then it changes back, it might be these particles passing through the earth and affecting the collective structure, the collective consciousness on the structural level. Yeah. So I just wanted everybody in the Mandela Effect community to just bear in mind that the sun is also um, something that can affect us on a level that's beyond the individual. That's actually our collective consciousness on a structural level. Yeah. So we all have that responsibility to see. Yeah. And we got 7 billion eyes seeing, and on a planetary length scale, That's a structure that has 7 billion eyes, and when these particles in the solar wind hits the planet, it hits every collective structure. Even birds get hit. Um, but when the human collective gets hit, these are the things that we're seeing. Now, obviously, also gravitational waves can hit the collective conscious structure. Yeah, so every time you hear that scientists have detected a gravitational wave, that also might coincide with when you have a large number of people claiming to have experienced a Mandela effect flip-flop. So just bear in mind that there are natural processes that could be responsible for this, and it's not always man-made. It doesn't have to be sun that's doing it, or some other organization. It could just be some of the natural processes that are taking place now. Now, there is a galactic year, the time it takes for the sun to go around the Milky Way center. Yeah, it's 225 million years. And what I've noticed that every time, 225 million years ago is the last time that the sun was in this location around the relative to the center of the Milky Way. And what was happening 225 million years ago? There was radical changes. I think plant life was appearing or something like that. Yeah, no, I think mammals appeared. So every time it's in this location, something special happens. And in 500 or 450 million years back, I think that's when plant life started. And then if you go back a few galactic years, I mean, the sun is only, in terms of galactic years, 18 years old. But if you go back 3 or 4 galactic years, then you see that life on the planet was just really starting. So every time the planet goes to this part of this space, yeah, this location in the Milky Way, yeah, relative to the Milky Way center, I should say, something funny always happens. So there must be some kind of weird debris in this the space that the sun and the planet is going through right now. That we always go through this debris every 225 million years. I don't know. Yeah, but I've just noticed that there is a lot in nature that can affect our consciousness on a collective level. Yeah, that's what I wanted to point out.